long time. You're joking. Okay.
It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
Hello, sweet peas. Today we're going to attempt to make my dream dress. I have several dream dresses, okay? This is one of them. I've been wanting to make the Sydney Graham Syd Tie top/dress. Made the top. Here's a picture of me, actually. I wore it to a recent event. The full lane pants and Syd Tie top. Very cute. Now I'm gonna make the Syd Tie dress, which is the top half is the same as this top, then it goes into dress. I found the perfect fabric. It's exactly so beautiful. It was made in a lab for me, and this was at Bolt Fabric PDX. I found these sewing labels that I have been eyeing online for a while, and it was the last box there in person at Bolt Fabric PDX, so it was meant to be, okay? And they go so perfectly with this fabric. Couple of challenges. So number one, I didn't have the pattern cut out yet. I did that already off camera because it's kind of boring, I feel like, to watch me cut out a pattern, number one. And number two, it's just me cutting for a little bit and then going, because, you know, my hands don't have the same dexterity they did when I was in the 3rd grade, cutting a lot of paper all the time, you know? Now I don't cut as much paper, so my hands get tired quickly. The first challenge is that this dress is supposed to use 66-inch wide fabric. This is only 45. So I got an extra yard of fabric. Okay, so we'll see if that is possible. It calls for about a little over 2.5 yards. I bought 3.5 yards of fabric. I might have to patchwork the widest part of the skirt, which is fine with me. I'm not worried about that. Or piece together. I don't know if it's technically patchwork if it's only 2 pieces, but anyway, that will be potentially an issue we run into. The third challenge. Today is Sunday at 4:30 in the afternoon. We leave to go visit family in California on next Sunday. Between me and Felix, we have to edit 4 videos before we leave Sunday. One of them being the one you're watching right now, hopefully. So I only have a couple of hours tonight and a couple of hours tomorrow to get this dress together if I want it ready in time to take to California, which I do. So am I a cuckoo crazy girl? Maybe, but I have a dream.
This is a dream that I have had since lunch, and I am not giving up on it now.
And if I don't have enough fabric to make this dress, I want it so badly that if I have to drive to Portland to get another yard or 2 of fabric, I will. But do I really have time to do that with all of the video editing I need to do this week and packing for visiting family and hopefully cleaning our house before we leave? No, but I really want this dress. I saw this fabric and it was like, there you are. You know, it was love at first sight. I love it so much. It's by Anna Maria Textiles. If you want to follow them, I am now following them. And like I said, I bought it at Bolt Fabrics PDX. It's actually like Bolt Fabric Boutique, I think. And unfortunately, I love everything they sell. So I do think I will be visiting it many more times. They should have a rewards program, actually. I would be very interested in that. But, like I said, I've cut out the pattern, including the sleeves. I am making a sleeveless dress. Number one, I do have really great self-esteem. I love myself. I love the way I look. But even when I didn't used to love the way I look, I've never cared about my arms. It always seems silly to me. What do you mean there are people out there who are like, oh, my arm, my bat wings? We always call these chicken wings. I've never in my life, and maybe that's me. I used to be a much more judgmental person than I am now to strangers. I think the same way everyone who's like, you know, 13 and really like, you're just insecure. So you're kind of mentally mean to other people. I think we've all done that. Even then, I was never looking at anyone's arms. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, all that to say, I love a sleeveless option, and I encourage you to have a couple sleeveless options. I haven't found a pattern for this. I don't really have a lot of interest in making it. I'm hoping I find it. But I've always kind of wanted, like, tube top dress. My only problem is it's really hard to find a strapless bra for giant, huge, beautiful knockers. I don't even really need bra, though. I just want something that actually, like, I know other people love it. It's not for me to like be able to see my nipples so much out in public. So if you guys know of anywhere that sells tube top for chunky girl with like maybe built-in bra that's thick enough you can't see my nipples, let me know. I'm trying to have possibly a little bit of tube top summer. So, long intro to say, I believe in us. Is this a foolish idea? Yeah. Probably. The other thing is this is a woven fabric, which I have not worked with. It is 100% cotton. Loving that. I also am not pre-washing it. So will it shrink? Possibly. This is like a like oversized dress though, so I'm not super worried. Those are potentially famous last words, but anyway, it is a woven fabric and you do have to cut binding on the bias. So I don't know if that's possible with like a woven fabric. All that to say, I'm gonna see if I have a solid color binding that'll also work, just in case. I'm also cutting all the bias pieces last, which you should do anyway, but so if I may not even have enough fabric considering I don't have the right size fabric. But it's so beautiful, okay? It has to be done. It has to be done. I'll figure it out. Okay, let's go upstairs and start cutting our fabric very slowly and creatively. I cannot make any mistakes. You know, I think that we can forge on, and I believe in myself, and I am inspired, and I am very smart, and I can problem solve, and so I believe in myself, and I believe in us doing this together. Okay, let's go. I'm so excited. I'm very nervous, but I'm so excited. Okay, here's my plan. Those are all my pieces. I gotta grab, sorry. That's okay. So I'm just loosely placing them and like guessing, so. Okay, so this is the back piece, needs to be cut on the fold. And then I could do one of the pockets here.
Yeah.
So it actually, oh no, it won't, huh? No, yeah, here.
But you could fit another pocket there.
You're right. Okay, and then that goes to here. Skirt bottom tier. Here's the only problem, is the fold is supposed to be this.
Right.
And it's not enough. That's my only issue.
So I haven't made my Syd Tie top yet, but what I did for this, so I don't know how bad this is gonna be or if it's not gonna work, but I just did it like this because I didn't care if it was a little bit less gathered because mine is just the peplum.
That's
a little peplum
that's
for a
true.
top. But the only other way you can do this is if you just open it up.
Yeah.
And do two, so then you'll have seams.
But this one goes on the fold. So let's say it's really close to this.
Oh, and you need two of them.
Yes.
I see.
But I think it's like just barely enough.
Here, okay, so this one can go up here.
Yes.
Where was it again?
I think halfway through this one.
Okay. This.
And then yeah, that's the fold.
That's the fold.
Yeah. So
But
the only
the only way you can do it is if you do that and make it a little less.
a little short, not short.
A little less voluminous.
Yes.
On your.
Wait,
that's the third layer. That's the bottom layer, right?
Oh, is it?
Yes. This is the top tier.
Oh, so
That's
perfect.
the bottom tier. So it doesn't even
So
matter
it's
that much.
fine.
It'll just be slight. It'll still gather a little bit.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
won't
Not as
be
much.
quite as much.
Yeah, the binding is all I'm worried about.
And yeah, well, let's look at her instructions again, because I think you fold it in. I don't think you even do the you're not gonna see the binding.
I just feel like you can. No, you're right. You must be right.
Yeah, because it all folds under.
Okay, Shelly and I watched the video and she was absolutely right, which I should have known. You can't see the armhole binding and the front binding by the end product. So, here's our main fabric. So beautiful. Oh my god, there's a giant bug on the window that scared me. It's on the outside, don't worry. I don't have anything like perfect to cut bias binding out of because it doesn't, like she's right, it doesn't have to match. I would like it to, but I have something pretty close to perfect. This is an old Minnie Mouse twin sheet that Felix has already cut a little bit to start a quilt a long time ago that they haven't finished. But you know, who am I to say anything? And actually the colors are like similar enough that I feel really comfortable cutting the bias tape out of that. The ties, I think I'll have just enough, literally only because with the dress, you only need 4 ties instead of 8. I think I'll have just enough to cut the ties This is cutting it pretty close. I think in the future, if I'm gonna disregard the instructions, I'm going to get, so like this was supposed to have 2.5 yards, really 2 5/8, and I bought 3.5. So I think next time I'm gonna go with a full 1.5 yards to 2 yards more. Because again, if I had needed to piece together one thing, like it would have been fine. If there's in a dress, I feel like if there's a weird seam, you know, if it was pants, then maybe I would have just waited till I found a fabric that was the right width. Anyway, I'm so nervous, but so excited. I believe in us. We can do it. Believe in yourself. Okay, I've come to a critical point where I'm cutting the last piece, which is the one that didn't technically fit. But good news, I have much more fabric than I anticipated, which has me a little nervous. But when Shelly and I were laying out the pieces to be like, this can go here, this can go here, I forgot that you have to fold the bodice for the dress. Like the bodice pieces are shorter because the skirt starts higher. So I think that is where we got a little bit of extra length. This is how it's supposed to go on. I don't know if you can see, but it's hanging off by about 2 inches. But, oh wait, well, can I fit 4 of these? I think this is gonna be a little bit shorter anyway. 2, 3, 4. Okay. What Sydney did in her video, and what I think I can do here, is she cut 4 of these, because it's supposed to be 2 on the fold. And so she has a seam in hers. I'm gonna skip to the end of her video and see if it bothers me that she has a seam, because I don't think it will. I'll do that. And if it doesn't, then I can do what she did, for sure. If I cut about 1 inch off the bottom of this, which I think I'll have to do anyway, because the last time I hemmed something, based on how she hemmed it, I needed to hem it an extra 2.5 inches. So I think taking like 1 inch off the bottom of this would be fine. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I've come to the conclusion that I would rather it possibly be a little bit shorter than I envisioned than have it not be gathered correctly. So I am gonna cut 4 pieces 1 inch shorter. I am first going to fold my pattern piece 1 inch shorter to see if they'll fit. But I think that'll fix it.
A few moments later.
All right, I've done it. I still have to cut my bias, so I'm not done cutting, don't think that. But this is what my little patchwork long piece looks like, and I've serged it. I just added 1 inch on the end, sewed it at a 1/2 inch. So I think overall it's gonna add width, but only a little. And if I hate it, I'll figure it out. Will it bother me that it's halfway through a block? To be determined. I actually think it's kind of cute, but will I still feel that way later? Who's to say? I'm gonna cut my ties and my bias binding, and then we'll see what time it is. I don't know what time it is now, so it'll be a super surprise to everyone involved. Okay, I've cut out all my pieces. I also, I went ahead and ironed my ties. Here is why I didn't film it, because this is what I look like. I hate doing it. My hands get hot, my fingers get burned. I don't like to do it. I could invest in something that makes it for me, probably like a little bias tape maker, but smaller, but I won't. I'll just do it, it's fine. Anyway, ironed, very nervous. I know the first step is I just need to baste the armholes and neck holes so they just kind of stay in the same place because they're like curved. And then the rest of this, I don't know, it'll probably mostly be B-roll because I'm sure I will be terrified. I'm so scared. I've been scared at every point and it's been okay so far. So I believe in us. They want you to be sad. Yeah, Coachella's not big where I'm from, obviously, because it's way over here. People are really into Bonnaroo. It's Tennessee. But it's the same thing. There's no bathrooms. Like, it just seemed like a punishment to go. Okay, it's 9:30 at night. I only have part of bodice. Ideally, I finish this dress tonight. That's my hope and my dream. Will that happen? I don't know, but I'm gonna try. I've got my AirPod. I'm gonna listen to my audiobook and sew for like 3 hours till like midnight 30 and see what happens. Because I would like to finish this tonight. We don't leave for another like 5 days. So if it can't happen, it can't happen. But I have many, many, many things to do on all the other days between now and then. So it'd be great if I could finish this tonight. It'd be great. We'll see. I'm listening to the second book of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I only knew a little bit about it, but my brother closest to me in age suggested it to me, and he never recommends books. He also mostly reads nonfiction about like the hobbies that he's currently into. So like we don't have a lot of overlap, but he recommended this to me like a year and a half ago before it was all over my For You page and stuff. And then a few months after he recommended it, which I take very seriously because again, he doesn't recommend much. I was like, yeah, I'll definitely look into it, but like I just hadn't gotten around to it. A few months after that, I saw it at the bookstore. Really interested, really loving the cover. And then I'm glad that I waited because a bunch of folks, once it started gaining more popularity, at least in my other circles, a lot of folks were like, actually, you should do the audiobook. Like, it's really cool the way they do the audiobook. And I agree. What I will say is it's an Audible exclusive. And obviously we avoid Amazon as much as we possibly can. But I really wanted to listen to this. And I was like, whatever, eventually it sounds like I'm just gonna have to get it on Audible. And then the book god smiled upon me. And one of my friend's husbands is the kind of nerd who loves these books. And so he put them on a flash drive for me. So I get to listen to them without giving Amazon any extra money. I will say they are, everyone was right. Everyone was right. The audiobook's amazing. I can't imagine physically reading it. I do think I'm the kind of person who buys like book trophies. If I get like a gift card or the money. Money's like tight for everyone right now, right? So buying a book to sit on a shelf just to show that I've read the book on audiobook isn't something I currently am doing. But if I saw it at a thrift store, I'd be getting it and putting it on a shelf just to be like these books, you know? Whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'm on the second one. Only a few minutes in the second one. And already lots going on. So I'm gonna listen to that and I'm gonna sew and I'll see you. I'll check in tonight at midnight 30 and see where we're at. It's right at midnight. And I was like, you know, I'm not gonna have this dress done by 12:30. That's okay. I can definitely have the top done. And I would have if I didn't sew the arm binding on both sides, by the way, completely backwards. And unpicking, like seam ripping with this like really beautiful woven fabric has to be done so slowly and so delicately, which I will do, but not tonight. I am taking it as a sign to just go to bed. I'll go to bed. I will finish this before we leave. I'll finish it before we leave. I feel certain I can do that. I might unpick this now before I go to bed. You know what? No, I won't. I won't. I'm just gonna go to bed. And this is a problem for tomorrow me after I edit a video. I believe in us. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. I'm feeling more hopeful. Here's what happened is I turned my bodice piece inside out to finish this binding, which is what you're supposed to do, and ironed it. And then you're supposed to turn it back right side out to bind the arms, which I forgot to do. So I'm gonna unpick both arm bindings, which is okay. Mistakes are normal. And then I'm gonna sew these back on. I will definitely have time to finish this before we leave. Will I finish it today? Probably not. But I did finish editing my other video, with the exception of the outro. I haven't filmed yet. So, priorities are good. Morale is high-ish. Ba-dum-ba-dum-bum-bum. I'm Morgan and I was wrong. I'm singing the Morgan Wrong song. I sewed my armhole binding backwards, and now I have to unpick the whole thing. Do the kicks. Man, yeah, this part sucked. Okay, it's done. This is how the armholes are looking right now. A little raggedy. So here is what I'm thinking. I absolutely destroyed my armhole binding while I was ripping it, which is to be expected because it is made out of old sheet from 30 years ago. So Shelly has some vintage bias binding that is the same width. It is already like ironed into bias tape, which is not necessarily what I need. But I'm thinking I can unfold this, cut it with the same notches as the pattern, and I think it'll work fine. The color of it isn't like great with this, but you're not supposed to be able to see it anyway, so I don't think it'll super matter. What I'm trying to decide is if I actually need to serge around these armholes. I think it would make me feel like they're more secure because this is like so woven. Like look at the bottom of this right now. This is the bottom hem. And again, once things are like serged and like sealed up, I'm not worried about it like unraveling in the wash or anything. Knock on wood. Anyway, I think it can't hurt to serge it unless I do it too much, like too far. So I'm a little nervous about it. But I think if I try to sew the bias binding on without, actually, you know what, maybe I'll just like use these snips and like clip all these loose threads and see how it looks and then decide from there. Okay, it's done. It's not done, sorry. The bodice is done. Finally, It's looking great. The bias tape that was vintage worked out totally fine. There's a couple of things. I'm really bad at when you're like cutting notches to show like match this notch of this thing with this one. Cutting them too big. So there's a couple of spots that are, I'm a little worried about them when they go in the washer for the first time, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Very excited, except obviously the hem where it will attach to the dress is still crazy. So yeah, time to make the bottom part. It is only the 4 skirt pieces in the pocket, but everything is taking much longer than I thought it would, which is about par for the course actually, so.
It's tough pulling.
I know, it won't, it's not going very good.
Oh, that's weird. Usually it's much easier. Did you do a basting stitch?
Yeah, that's what this is.
So weird.
And I did it on 1/2 millimeter. Yeah. That's what she said in the video.
Usually you're supposed to use like the longest. Did she say 1/2 millimeter?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's usually like the longest.
That's what I thought.
Because, yeah, then it's loose.
But this is longer than what it was.
Really?
Yeah, it's not long.
That's crazy.
I sewed my basting stitch way too small, so now it won't gather.
2 hours later.
I just unpicked it for almost 2 hours. And I'm ready to get hurt again. Okay, the good news is I did sew it correctly this time. I'm gathering. The whole reason I put off ever doing this pattern is because I was telling Shelly, I'm super nervous about gathering. It seems hard. And she was like, it's so easy. Oh my God, it's so easy. And she was wrong. This is horrible. I think I'm gonna pay her to do it next time. I feel like I've been like scrunching this fabric and it just gets like really way too flat. Maybe it's just a skill I have to practice. I'm sure it is, but this is horrible. The only good part about it is that I've been listening to my audiobook and it's, you know, interesting. But also, when do I know, how do I know when to pull it out more? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Sure. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway. All right. Well, I guess I'm just gathering and then ungathering until I die, I guess is what I'm doing. So I'll see you maybe after I sew these 2 parts together. We'll see. Hello. Do I perhaps look haggard and evil, as if I was staying up very late, very frustrated? That's because I am. I was up late last night working on the dress. I'm so close to being done. I am so close. I just have 2 more things to do, and I won't be filming them because I fear I will burst into tears. And I'd like to be clear, it's not the fault of the pattern or Sydney. Obviously, she's incredible. I will discuss my thoughts in my outro, but to give me the tiniest push to complete my task, Felix went to the P.O. box and we had 2 things there. So I'm very excited to open them. First, from Mars' last name. Oh my God, okay, so first, let's read the card. Okay, so Mars, first of all, basically, long story short, they've had a bunch of these things for a long time. You're joking. Okay. I don't even know. These are all so good. Okay, so I'm trying to go least exciting to most exciting. They're all exciting, to be clear. So first we have a couple more of these tiny books. These are gonna be great because he's never seen them for the road trip we're taking at the end of the week because they're tiny books that he will read to himself. And he loves Sesame Street so much, so he's gonna love these. Then, oh my God, okay. Then we have a little bit of duck fabric, which is so cute. This is amazing. We have watch. Sea Life watch. I have to film Felix opening these also, actually. He's gonna be so excited. Okay, and then a little embroidery thing. And they've already started it, or somebody already started it. Amazing, love that. They also sent us some little things for our Tony box, which is great. Because honestly, I feel like you can never have too many. This is amazing. Okay, next, I'm going with Zoe purse. Zoe purse. I love her. Okay, last, by far, the most exciting thing is the Twilight CD. I have to film Shelly. Oh, she didn't hear me. She's working. She's gonna be thrilled. We've been looking for this secondhand for years. You can buy them new on eBay for like $35. Not new, in good shape. I don't want to spend $35. This is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so much. This is a great package. Okay, I have to, hang on. I'm gonna see if I can get Shelly's reaction. If I can, I'll put it here. So, first, Zoe purse.
Oh my God. Wow. This is amazing. Oh my God.
She probably needs a nice slow bath.
She's beautiful. The baby's gonna flip his lid.
I
This
know.
is so sick.
He loves Zoe.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Wow. Wow.
I know, I was like, you have no idea how much we wanted this.
Wow.
I haven't told Shelly yet, but I plan to also film
You
her
have to
reaction.
film her.
Someone sent us something worth thousands of dollars, if you ask me.
Gosh. Yay! Oh my gosh, I have been looking so hard for this. Every time I go to any thrift store, I'm looking. I'm like, I know it's black. I know exactly what the like side thing looks like.
I literally was like, Shelly's gonna flip her lid.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I gotta get this on my Apple Music now.
Immediately. This is coming from Frostbeard Studio. I'm very excited. Very official packaging. Very nicely wrapped. Oh my God. These are candles? Oh my God. I don't know why I said it like it's a question. It's obviously a candle. This smells so good. This is also, you cannot imagine how perfect this timing is. Yesterday, I literally begged Felix. I was like, we have no candles in our house, which is great because it's like a goal that I set for myself to not buy any more candles until I burned all the ones we had, and I finally did. And that was after putting in the No More Candles ban like a year and a half ago. It took a long time, but finally we had no candles in our house. We have a toddler, you know what I mean? So sometimes we throw away old food and we don't take it down immediately. So this is such incredibly perfect timing. Wait, there's more. This branding is so cute. Old books. Shall we give it a whiff? Oh, man, that really is so good. So Rainy Day Reads, hold on, it's the first one. And then we have old books. Sasana? I feel this is a word Felix is gonna know. Ooh, that's really good. I love when the top is like also part of the branding. I feel like it's so cute. I also obviously love a glass jar. Although I guess they probably don't make plastic candles, huh? Oh my God, this is so nice. What a great mail day. Oh my God. Thank you so much to Frostbeard Studio. I didn't see like a card. So I don't know your real name, but Frostbeard Studio? Frostbeard Studio, please follow them. I presume they are on social media. And then Mars, absolutely incredible. I'm feeling very inspired, and I feel that I can do hard things. And so I will finish this dress and it will be So beautiful. I'm not gonna film me sewing the last couple things because I just wanna do it in peace. But I will see you at the outro for the grand reveal, okay? And, all right, it's done. Let's just all together, we'll take a deep breath before we debrief about this. Before I get into it, I've had a few days that it's been done, that I've sat with this, and I think it was worth it. Everything I'm about to like complain about, I feel it was worth it. I feel it was worth it. Okay, I'm gonna chat a little bit and then I'll give you the full reveal, okay? A little twirl. You know what, actually, you guys have been so patient. Let's just do it first, okay? Roll the film. Yeah, it's really cute. It's really cute. Okay, here are the pros and cons for making this. The pros, I had already made the tie top, so I knew a little bit going in. The actual instructions, Sydney's video, the understanding of the pattern, that part was not what was difficult. That's not the issue I was having. So jot that down. Any complaints that I have, they're not about Sydney, obviously. And they're not about the pattern, and the dress is perfect and she's never done anything wrong, so it's just about me. However, I did not film the last couple hours of construction because the gathering was so heinous, in my opinion. Now that I've had a few days away from it, it was worth it, and I will be doing it again. And I think what it is it's just a skill that I need to practice, but Sydney, when she makes her dress, and other people that I follow who have made this dress, are much smaller than me. I made the size 26. I do think I'm gonna make a size 24 next. Not that I think this looks bad oversized, I just think it could be a little smaller, and I think I would like it more. Other people I know who have made this dress, who are like, the gathering was super easy. The instructions are easy. I feel, and I don't know, because I haven't made a tiny dress since I was in college making costumes for other people, and I don't remember much for many reasons from being in college. I feel like gathering this much fabric, because I made a larger size, was so hard for me to make even. Maybe that is a me problem. I will say, actually, I'm sure that it's a me problem. I think it's just, again, a skill that I have to practice. It's something I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna make another one of these dresses probably soon because I feel like it's perfect for summer. I think actually the next one I make, I won't even do the bottom layer. I think I might just let it be kind of like short, not short, but shorter than this. It was so hard for me to make even that what I eventually ended up doing is I did the basting stitch with all the gathers as even as I could make it as I was sewing it. Like, I would sew for like 2 inches, kind of like pull what wasn't sewn yet to try to make the next 3 inches like look even-ish. And that is like how it ended up as even as it did, which is fine. I can do that again. And then basically I put those basting stitches in, I put on the dress, and I kind of popped out seams. You know, like, you know, if you grew up plus size, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you put on a t-shirt from Target or whatever, and you like put it over your knees and you stretch it out and you can hear those seams pop because you're breaking threads in order to make it like fit better. That's essentially what I did. Then I went in and serged it, okay? The dress is not gonna fall apart because that was the instructions anyway. I didn't just do that because I was doing the gathering process kind of wrong. That is what eventually worked. And I was like, this is gonna be ugly. And actually it's fine. I've been rewarded for doing it wrong. It's cute. The second thing that went wrong is also not Sydney's fault. It is literally my fault and my husband's fault. I really, really, really wanted to put one of the little tags somewhere on the dress. I thought about putting it on like the bottom left, my left of the dress, kind of like a little secret patch almost, but when I like pinned it there and held it there, it just didn't look right. So eventually, with the help of all of my roommates in the house, and I went with putting it on back of my dress, like right where my neck is, like the nape of my neck. It's a secret little, so if my hair's down and I move it, which my hair's short right now, obviously, but you know, when I move it, you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, a little tag at the back. That's so cute. I'm like, where should I put it? Da, 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 da. I'm talking to Felix and Shelly and getting all of their opinions. Everyone's like, I do think the back of the neck is the cutest. I'm like, okay, so I take the tag over to Felix and I hand them a friction erasable, like heat erasable pen. And I'm like, can you just like mark a little like general X of like where the middle of the tag should go? That's where I'll put it and I'll sew it down. And Felix is like, I think it makes more sense to like fully draw out the entire tag than just put a little X in the middle. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever you think. Like, you're the one back there, I can't see it. And then we go back and forth because what I didn't think about and what I will think about next time if I might buy the other colorway of this. This is the colorway I bought and this is the other one. I might buy the other colorway and do a 2-piece set actually. Anyway, Felix was like, do you want it in the middle of the stripe or do you actually want it in the middle of your back? And I was like, oh, great question. So we all go back and forth. Anyway, and so Felix starts drawing where the tag should go, and halfway through they're like, this isn't a heat erasable pen, this is a regular pen. And they're right. I handed them a regular pen and not a heat erasable one. And I was like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm sure a pen is washable. But it did not come out. This is what it looks like now. I've washed it. I used the Messy Mouth spray. If you're the parent of a toddler, you know this is like the best product I've ever seen, and it still couldn't get it out. It is, I didn't take a picture of it before, so just so you know, it is like, it was really dark and it is pretty faded. And I think at this point I have put so much love into this dress that I was like, that's so funny. I wasn't even mad, especially because it was my fault. I gave Felix the wrong pen, but I was like, this would happen. And now that I've sewn the tag on, honestly, if you, for some reason, were some stranger who got really close to my neck, you would be able to see it. But I don't care. I don't care. No one's gonna look at that. They're gonna be like, who's that beautiful girl who belongs in a film in her beautiful dress? So, yeah, that happened, but it is what it is. The good news is I've washed the dress now, and it survived, so that's great. Other things I'm going to consider next time I make this. So first of all, I actually, buying a fabric that was technically the wrong size, I really didn't have any issue. If you're thinking of making this, like I said at the beginning, this dress called for 2 5/8 yards. I bought 3.5 yards. It was like exactly perfect. Honestly, if you've never made it before and you don't have a Shelly Mae at your house to help you with a lot of the steps, I would buy 4 yards just to be safe, and then worst case you can make, you know, a little bag or something to match your new dress. Anyway, yeah, that was no issue. I would do that again. This is a woven fabric, so anytime I cut anything, the fabric like kind of starts to unravel because it's like someone like made it in a loom. I mean, I think a robot made it in a loom, but like, or I don't know. Let me know, I guess. Can robots weave? So that was an issue. If I wasn't already meant to serge basically everything, I would have had to. But again, like with apparel especially, like they usually want you to serge a lot of it on the inside, so that is good. So it's not that I wouldn't do it again, but it is something to consider because Aaron was like cleaning up upstairs and he's like, why are there little green threads everywhere all over the house? And I was like, it's me. There's like green and purple and blue threads everywhere and they're mine. They just keep sticking to my clothes as I'm making this dress. I also think in the waist area specifically, I think this dress looks great. I think I look great in it. I do think next time I make it, I'm going to shorten the bodice a little bit so that the dress part starts a little higher, just because like I am much shorter than Sydney, and I think that would make it sit a little better to like what I would be going for. Again, I'm not remaking this one. I think it's great. I think it's perfect. But, you know, this is my first time making it, and if I had bought that sewing book at Bolt Fabrics, these are the notes I could make. I think I'm gonna buy it. I think next time I'm in Portland, I'm gonna buy it. And then I could slowly put sewing related stickers on it, you know what I mean? This is exactly what that's for, and then they'd all be in one place instead of me having to go through my regular journal to find sewing notes. Also, when I made this, I already shortened the bottom skirt panel by about 2 inches. And I still hemmed it an extra inch compared to the instructions. So I think I'm kind of gonna make all of the pieces possibly like an inch shorter. And I think that'll have everything landing right where I want it. I think that's my plan. All in all, so amazing. I did cry a little bit doing the gathering. I think the only thing is next time I'm just not gonna do it at 11 p.m. I think I'm gonna be awake well, I was awake. I think I'm gonna have other people be awake so I can be like, okay, am I insane? Am I insane? Because like I didn't film it because I was not my best self, and I did not want to share that because I was so stressed out. Because the stakes were not high. If I didn't make this, it wasn't a big deal, but I love this fabric. And again, it was all worth it. I look amazing. This is so cute. It doesn't matter. I think I'm just gonna, it's a skill I'm gonna work on. I'm very smart, very capable, and I can do hard things and I can learn new skills. And I did, I made a dress. And I'll make another one. I also have just enough fabric left over to make a pair of pants for my toddler. And Felix kept like a little patch amount, and I think they're gonna put a little pocket on one of their shirts, and then we'll have a little matching outfit. Felix actually already took some patches and patched a pair of the baby's jeans with this fabric. So when I wear this in California, he and I will be able to match a little bit, which is really cute. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for everyone who's been so supportive of me kind of pivoting our entire channel to be sewing focused every other week. It's something I enjoy sharing. I really love that everybody has been telling me what they're working on. Should we start using the Discord again? Let me know. Are you interested? We have a Discord from when we used to stream. A couple folks still use it, not a ton. Should we use it? And we could put like a, this is what I'm working on kind of channel. I don't know. Up in the air. Let me know. That's it. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great week. I hope that your favorite treat is on sale at the grocery store this week. That's what I hope for you. The world is so scary, but you are so lovely. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Please go drink some water and be nice to yourself, okay? I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah. And I think I just damned myself by saying that, but... Okay, I'm filming, but I'm not talking to you guys, so don't be scared.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot I was filming.
Like it's filming now?
Yeah. I'm just happen to be a woman who's a man playing an old man game. Okay, I'm talking now. Yeah, Coachella's not big where I'm from, obviously, because it's way over here. People are really into Bonnaroo.
Bonnaroo's in Georgia?
It's in Tennessee.
Oh, it's in Tennessee, okay.
But it's the same thing. There's no bathrooms. Like, it just seemed like a punishment to go. So yeah, I love when like the top is also part of the branding. Oh my God, I held it upside down.